What's up, YouTube? This is Crispy, otherwise known as Bystander X79, and I'm coming to you with today's deck profile video, Cyber Dragons. Now, I know a lot of people are hyped with the new support that's coming out in July in Cyber Horizons, but I can tell you this right now, with the cards we got, the deck is still pretty freaking epic to play. Alright? Little brief history. Cyber Dragons were originally introduced to us in the GX era. They were kind of the quote-unquote spiritual successor of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, being able to fuse into monsters like Cyber End Dragon or even Cyber Twin Dragon to be able to hit your opponent pretty hard. Alright, nowadays, like I said, it's a bit more of an OTK engine. We've actually got in things like Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, Cyber Dragon Infinity from Breakers of the Shadow. We wound up getting a lot of new support in 2014 with the Cyber Dragon structure deck. And because of that, the deck really became its own thing. Alright? And we'll see what the deck can do right now. First and foremost, you're not going to run a Cyber Dragon deck without 3 copies of the main guy, Cyber Dragon. Alright? This guy's been around since the GX era. Can special summon out whenever you don't have any monsters in the field and your opponent does. And the cool thing about it, with the way the deck works now, you can fusion him, you can link him, you can even go into rank 5 Xyz with him. Back in the day, he was great being able to go second. You'd be able to summon him out and then tribute him off for a tribute summon. So he was very versatile back in the day, and because of him being a single card engine, he did a little time on the limited list. Now he's back. Been back for a while, but alright, next thing. 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. Now this is one of the support cards that actually came out in this structure deck. Cyber Dragon Core, whenever it's normal summoned to the field, you're able to search your deck for a Cyber Spell. Now this effect's going to become, or Cyber Spell or Trap, this effect is going to become extremely important in July when we get that new Cyber Dragon spell that can really help the deck ramp itself up a little bit even better. While this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it when you have no monsters in the field and special summon out the big guy. Alright? And the cool thing about it is that while it's face up on the field or in the graveyard, its name counts as Cyber Dragon, which was really important when it comes down to certain fusions. Next card, 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Dre. Now, Dre, whenever it's normal summons, turns every Cyber Dragon that's on the field into a level 5 monster, which helps with Xyz summoning. Unfortunately, with the courses, you can only special summon machine type monsters, which is alright because you can, even if you link summon with it on the field, you can still bring out. There are machine monsters you can use. Cool thing about it is that if it's ever banished, you can target one of your Cyber Dragons that are on the field, and it becomes immune to card effects like spells and traps. And once again, just like Core, it counts as a Cyber Dragon on the field or in the graveyard, and that's really handy when it comes to certain fusions. Next card, the level 1 Cyber Valley. Now, the cool thing about Cyber Valley is that it has 3 different effects. It's in there to help stall, but it could also add some consistency to the deck by adding some draw power. Alright, its first effect. Whenever it's targeted by an attack by an opponent's monster, you can banish it. You can banish it, draw a card, and end the opponent's battle phase. Awesome effect for stall. Using machine duplication on it to bring out 2 other copies. You could have one of those copies target another copy, and then banish itself and the target to draw 2 cards. And then you could target a monster in your graveyard, banish Cyber Dragon and 1 card from your hand to basically stack your deck with that monster you targeted in your graveyard. So it has some pretty good utilities. Level 1, so it can also turn around and go into, allow you to extend into something like a Linkuriboh play. Alright. Last but not least, you have 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is awesome. Send a light machine monster from your hand to your graveyard, special summon this in defense mode, and then you can search your deck for another Galaxy Soldier, which is completely and totally awesome. Helps thin out the deck, helps get monsters onto the field, and the coolest thing about it is that it's a light attribute machine monster, which makes it searchable by the cyber support spell that we run in this deck. Alright, speaking of which, into the spells we have 3 copies of Cyber Repair Plant. Now, Cyber Repair Plant has 2 effects that activate when you have a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard. One of them allows you to search out 1 lighted tribute machine type monster. The other allows you to turn around and target a lighted tribute monster and shuffle it back into your deck. Now, the cool thing about it is that you can actually get both effects if you have 3 or more Cyber Dragons in your graveyard. You can just activate those effects in sequence. Alright. Next card. Great toolbox card for this deck. 2 instant fusions. I can't turn around and tell you how good this card is. It helps get your Xyz plays. It helps get your Link plays up. I mean, it is an insane overall toolbox card that needs to be in this deck. Alright, of course, in machine deck, you have to be running limiter removal, doubles the attack points of all machine type monsters on the field. Downside is that all those monsters that have their attack doubled are destroyed at the end of the turn, but a lot of times if you're activating this during the damage step, you're swinging for game anyway, so this card helps machine decks win games. Okay, now I mentioned this card when I was talking about Cyber Valley. Machine duplication, target 1 machine type monster that with 500 or less attack, and then you can special summon 2 monsters with the same name. Cool thing about this card is that Cyber Valley is 1 play with it. The other one card you have is Cyber Dragon Core. Now the cool thing about it is that, yeah, because of Cyber Dragon's effect where its name changes to Cyber Dragon while on the field, when you activate machine duplication, you're not bringing out 2 more copies of Core. Instead, you're actually bringing out 2 copies of the original big guy, Cyber Dragon. Alright, which can help get plays up and going and do it. Now, the thing about it is that since there's only 2 targets and the amount of recursion back in the deck really isn't that much, I feel that 2 copies is the best ratio to run. Probably later down the road when we get the new support from Cyber Horizons, we probably might be experimenting with pushing this up to 3, but we're going to have to see what happens then. Alright, of course we have Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is a play extender, gets a monster back from the graveyard, helps build up your field. Alright, the first of the fusion cards, I've run 2 copies of Overload Fusion. I run 2 copies because you want to see the card in your hand a little bit, more often than not. It helps by fusing your machine type monsters in your graveyard to bring out dark attribute machines. Particularly in this particular case, you're going to want to bring out Chimera Attack Rampage Dragon. Just in case that one doesn't get the job done and gets popped, you can bring out another one. That's why it's at 2. 2 copies of Power Bond is the other fusion spell for machines. Basically, it brings out a fusion monster, but the machine type monster's the attack is actually doubled. Downside is that on an end phase, if you don't end the duel, you're going to be receiving the original attack of that fusion summon monsters as damage, but a lot of the times you're not going to be seeing that since the fusion monster you bring out is going to be pretty much swinging for game. Alright, and last but not least, we have 2 copies of Twin Twisters, helps unclog the hand, takes care of back row, and scales if you're facing off against pendulums. Alright. Trap cards. 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole because it's very good against a lot of the boss monsters out there. Destroys them, takes them off the field, and banishes them. The card is so good. We got it back at 3 actually, but I'm running it at 2 because really it's all you need. Of course, I run 3 more copies of Call of the Haunted. It's another recursion card, play extender, helps bring stuff back onto the field if it was destroyed. Overall, it's a great card to have in there. Alright, my tech card, 1 copy of DNA Surgery. I used to run this at 2. I'm only running it at 1 now since we got Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Used to run 2 to see a little bit more often. Flip it face up, turn all your opponent's monsters into machines, and then with one Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon Core, or Cyber Dragon Dre, I'm able to turn around and contact fuse with those machines to create a big Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Of course, I run Solemn Judgment, negate a summon, spell, or trap for half your life points. Always welcome in any deck. 2 copies of Solemn Strike, negate inherit summons and monster effects. And then, of course, 1 copy of Solemn Warning, which turns around and negates any summons that start a chain. Alright, on to the extra deck. Now, the extra deck is really where things can get a little dicey for players if you don't know what you're doing. First off, I have my 2 instant fusion targets. I have both Thousand Eyes Restrict and Panzer Dragon. Thousand Eyes Restrict can take a monster from your opponent's side of the field, equip it to itself, and then because of instant fusion effect, you can let it destroy it. It'd be destroyed during the end phase, and I'll take the monster equipped with it. Or you can use it as a source for Link Kuriboh and still get rid of that big monster. Panzer Dragon, on the other hand, opens up your Link plays, also turn your rank 5 XCs, and if you leave it on the field and destroys itself, it also has an effect where it activates and takes a card with it off your opponent's field. So 2 great cards to have. Then you have the OTK machine here. I run 2 copies in case one gets destroyed, and it's Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Beautiful card. Basically, 1 Cyber Dragon monster plus... there's actually 2 more Cyber Dragon monsters you can use to fusion summon it, and depending on the number of Cyber Dragon monsters you use for it, you could actually turn around and destroy spell and traps on the field, equal to the number of materials you use to create it. Other thing is that you can send up to 2 cards from the deck, 2 monsters from the deck to your graveyard, and they can gain 2 extra attacks. Bring this out with something like Power Bond. Its attack gets jumped up to 4,200. Add in something like Limited Removal. It goes up to 8,400. A monster with 8,400 attack that can attack 3 times. Pretty damn epic. Alright, of course I mentioned this with DNA Surgery, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Primary reason why I run DNA Surgery in there. Turn all your opponent's monsters and machines. This thing gets 1,000 points for every machine type monster you use in this fusion. And also, cool thing about it is that even if it's in your extra monster zone, it cannot be used as a fusion material. Awesome. Alright, I have Cyber Twin Dragon because Cyber Twin Dragon, it actually can come out with Power Bond at 5,600 and can attack twice, making it very, very good card to have to clear fields and deal some serious damage. Mention this also. Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. This actually turns around and takes a Cyber Dragon monster, so any Cyber Dragon monster, including your opponent's Cyber Dragon Infinity or Cyber Dragon Nova, can be used as a material, and then you take off the monsters from the extra monster zones. Alright? It's just the monsters in those 2 zones, not the ones that are linked to it. Just remember that. So it tops out about 3,600 attack. Not bad for getting those problematic monsters off the field. And they don't have to be changed into machines either, so. Bobberoid, the Ultimate Battle Machine. Bring this guy off of Cyber Nova Dragon's Destruction effect. Adds 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense, can attack twice, does an extra 1,000 points of damage to your opponent while it's destroyed. And it negates any monster's graveyard that activates in the graveyard. Alright, Cyber Dragon Nova. Okay. 2 level 5 machine monsters. Make it. You can resurrect a monster, a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard to the hand. If it banishes something, it gains an extra monster from the field or your hand. It gains an extra 2,100 attack. And if it's ever popped by battle or card effect, you get a machine type fusion monster from your extra deck. Alright. Awesome card. And of course I run 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity. Cyber Dragon Infinity basically is insanely awesome in Link format because Link monsters can't go in defense mode, so it can absorb those Link monsters during your turn. It has a quick effect which can negate monsters' effects, spells, and traps once per turn, but still it's awesome to have. Cool thing about it is that you can actually bring back a Cyber Dragon Nova that you popped, and then overlay it for Infinity later. Alright, of course I mentioned this with both Cyber Valley and Thousand Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh is actually an awesome Link 1 monster to have. Just helps protect things and actually can recycle itself back onto the field easily. Alright, I run Underclock Taker. Again, this is one of the better Link 2 monsters in the game. Whatever it targets, you didn't target one of your opponent's monsters, and then whatever it points to, that targeted opponent's monster loses attack equal to that. So just imagine that on top of something while it's pointing to a fusion monster that was brought out with Power Bond, and you'll see what I mean. And of course, I run 2 copies of Quill-Forge Genius. I run 1 copy of Quill-Forge Genius. Basically, it's an awesome card. Can negate a monster's effect on your side, on one on your opponent's. And if you special summon to 2 monsters to the zones it points to, you get the search your deck for another level 5 monster, machine attack monster, which is excellent in this deck. All right. So, there it is. That is my Cyber Dragon deck profile for the February 2018 format. Alright? I can tell you right now, I've had a lot of fun with this deck and bringing it up to current format. I personally can't wait for the news tech to come out to see how the deck changes and how much better it gets. So, if you like this video, thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell to become part of the notification squad. Be notified whenever I throw up a new video. And guys, I will hopefully be seeing you later this week with a new video. Peace out, everybody.